This video is about managing relationships between your Gridfox tables. So we're going to cover how to link tables together and the reasons why you'd want to do so, what reference fields are and how they play a role in linking your tables, and then how to set up ID masks for reference fields as well. Within Gridfox, you store data in tables, and Gridfox becomes very powerful when you start linking those tables together to create relationships. So for instance, if you take a look at this CRM project here, and we take a look at one of the companies, we can see in the company record itself, I can see all the related projects, opportunities, and contacts. So this is because a relationship has been created between the projects table and the company table, the opportunities table, the company table, etc. So we look at that in the editor. So this is quite a complex model, so don't worry too much. But the companies has a child contacts table. So what we're going to do is now go back to the to-do list app and start adding a relationship with another table. We click on the Fox to go back to the home screen. You can see our to-do list project that was created in the previous video. This currently just has one table, the tasks table, but what we're going to do is create a projects table which the tasks will relate to. So for instance, rather than having just single tasks that don't relate to anything, you can create a project which is then broken down into individual tasks. So to do this, I'm going to go to the table builder. This can be done in the screen builder as well, which we'll see a bit later. So if I then add a projects table, and add a couple of fields. So we want a project name, a start date and an end date. Remember, you need to change the field types in the table builder as needed. So now it comes to creating the relationships. This is done using the link buttons on each of the tables. So I'm going to click the link button on the project and click the link button on the task. So this has now created a relationship between the projects table and the tasks table. So if I click on here, I can see that a project has many tasks. So the order in which you click the link buttons is very important. So if I remove this relationship that we created, and if I did that the other way around, so click on the tasks first, you can see the arrow is pointing a different way, and this means that a task has many projects, which is not the relationship we're after. So make sure just to double check that you are clicking the links in the right order to make sure the parent and the child is set appropriately. I'm going to go ahead and save that and set a reference field. So my project names might be the same, so I'm going to select a new auto counter for the project reference field. So what this means is if we drop out of edit mode and go back to the end user view, I've got this new projects tab in the sidebar. I can create a new project, so let's call it create brand guidelines, give it a start date, an end date, and underneath the project I can divide it up into different tasks. So if I do organize kickoff meeting, is to do. So this will create me a parent project record and a child task record where the task is linked to the project. So go ahead and save that. So now when I take a look at the project, I can see the task underneath and can keep adding more as needed. So as well as creating tasks when I create a project, I can also create a new task and link it to a project. Or for example, link an existing task to a project as well. So we have a task here that we created earlier, and there's now this project field, which is a lookup to the parent project. So I can select the project, of which we only have one. So this is where the reference field is used. So we selected to use an auto counter for the reference field for projects. That means in this list here, we'll see that reference field. So the auto counter is useful because each project will have a unique identifier, but it's less useful when you're trying to link these records together. So this is where ID masks are used so that you can see further information about the project when you're linking existing task records or creating a new task record to link to a project. So ID masks are set up in the editor. So I'll just clear this field for now. Open up edit mode, go back to the table view and open the field configuration for the reference field for the project. So what I want to do is when I'm creating a task and assigning it to a project, I want to be able to see the project name and the start date as well, so I know that I'm attaching the task to the right project. So you can bring in fields from the table onto the ID mask, and these are enclosed in square brackets. So for instance, if I do name, start date, and then the project ID, validate the mask, this will show up showing the project name dash start date with the ID in brackets as well. So see this in action. If we go back to the task that we were trying to assign to the project, I can now see that I've got this create brand guidelines with the start date as well. So I can see exactly which project I'm linking it to. So we've seen in this video how to link tables together, understand the function of the reference field, and how to put ID masks on top of reference fields so that you can link records correctly.